Alright. It's been absolutely ages. Let's turn this down a little bit. It's been absolutely ages since I live streamed. But I'm back. So today's game is Choice of Life Wild Islands. It is a game that is a choose your own adventure type game with a bunch of choices. Thanks to Keymailer, allowed to play this. They sent me a key for review and content purposes. Obligated to say that ahead of the broadcast, or at least at the start of the broadcast. I applied to Keymailer for a bunch of games, and this is one of the few that approved for a still very small channel. Very grateful for it. I read into some of the things that you have in this game. Apparently, a lot of people. Hold on, let's actually start properly. Like I said, it's been a while. This is a choose your own adventure type game. There are a bunch of different endings. Apparently, you can have runs as short as 90 minutes to actually complete the game. A lot of choices tend to actually matter, which is always very cool. And apparently, and I say it carefully, also trying to see if the Twitch version of the stream is actually running smooth in between, so sorry about that. Yeah, so there are a bunch of choices, and a lot of them can lead into that. A short speedrun version is going to give you one of, as possible in 2 of the many endings, will take you around 90 minutes. And the developers also said that 90% of players will die within the first 10 choices. Now this is a bit of an adventure game, a bit of pick and choose card-like game from what I've seen from the screenshots. I tried to not look too much because I want to go at this as fresh as possible. Yeah, I'm kind of just curious what this is going to be like. Considering I don't think I'm going to be able to look into a speedrun right away and I'm not going to be able to finish it in one go, in one stream, I kind of just hope I'm going to fail spectacularly on this live stream. So yeah, let's see how it's actually gonna go. I'm just gonna double check Twitch, because Twitch is being a little bit finicky on my end, and I want to make sure it's actually running. Okay, seems to be doing alright. Wonderful. Alright, first time I'm actually gonna play this, so I'm going in as blind as I expect some others would as well, so let's just get going. Not sure how it's gonna be narration wise, so I'm just gonna read stuff out loud. I'm winging it as we go. If the ship needs sailors and nobody's signing up, where to find new blood? I'll try to remember what happened yesterday. The sailor's face looks familiar. You've seen him in the tavern. Your head is starting to hurt from the memories. That must have been a wild night. Go to the tavern, look for some sturdy men, get them drunk, and bring them to the ship. Okay. Why am I so on the deck? I'm not a sailor. It's not your job. What are you even doing here? The captain passing by glares at you grimmily. Seems like this is your job now. Okay. Apparently I'm just a deckhand. We'll see. Okay. That's, you know, dying in the first 10 choices, or you lost a heart in 3. Well on track. The captain's kick convinced you to take the rag back and clean the deck. Procrastinating didn't work out. Then they wake up. tied to the wheel, and the ship's far away at sea. Realize? Yeah, that's how you got here. Born a landlubber, now a sailor. I think escaping a ship is gonna be a very, very poor decision. I'm Mr. Laidback. It is a story type game. Quite honestly, I tried not to read into it too much, so I have no idea what to expect. Going in quite blind. Yeah, accept your fate or escape from the ship. I think escape from the ship will have me dead in no time. Accepting my fate also seems like it's kinda just gonna end. I'm gonna go for accept your fate. Let's see where it goes. Whatever happens, happens for the best. But for who's best? Won't see any land now till we reach America. Alright, go to America. Or so they say. But I know that's all lies. What's the truth? There's no America. I'm being fooled. Wonderful. Everyone who wants to go to America was taken to collect some herb. The local people defend it and fight for it to the bitter end. That's why almost nobody returns. What about those that returned after all? They're actors, paid for. They sold out for 30 pieces of silver and now they're helping to buy the truth. Okay, buy the truth. It's a little bit of a weird font. I'm not a fan of the H. Got it. We need to tell everyone. I think if I'm gonna tell the captain, he's just gonna kick me again. Oh. The captain gave you some wine from his stash. Promised to cut your throat if you told anyone else. Okay. I think I survived not dying in the first 10 choices. That's great. The chatterbox sailor fell overboard. Uh-huh. Yeah, sure he did. Let's see. Time is passing by on the ship. And there's more and more work to be done. And more hungry mouths to feed. Apparently I was just a deck swap, so I'm gonna swap the deck. You could learn some sailor songs and dances while you're at it. I'm not gonna sing, just so you know. More experienced sailors are trying to shift their duties onto you. Sure, I'm gonna lose a life standing up for myself. Yep. You told someone to shove it, took a blow to your ear. A fight started. In the end, the boatswain gave everyone a good hammering, including you. Wonderful. Now, in true, absolute, amazing fashion, there is a cat that always disturbs me whenever I do go live, whether it's from my own channel or any other channel. So I'm gonna let the cat in. Be right back. Climbing on that creature truly is miraculous. Alright, let's continue. Brothers, get down to the cargo hold for bare knuckle fighting. Anyone who doesn't come is a captain's rat. Yeah, I just get beat up by someone more experienced, so I'm just gonna watch. There are no seats in the hold, so you have to watch on your feet. Place your bets, brothers. My Twitch. It is a very old handle. I'll write it down for you. Which is basically my Xbox gamer tag, but instead of spaces, lower dashes. Never really went along with any of the other branding I intended to do. But yeah, it's still life. And it's actually working miraculously. I haven't used it in ages. Surprised I still knew how to log in. Let the first fight begin. Who's your money on? Don't hesitate, folks. You're among friends. Who needs a shirt? If you lose, let everyone see and envy your battle scars. On second thought, what battle scars? You know what? I'm going to go with the dexterous fighter because we've been on sea for a while, and it was something about hungry mouths to feed, and bigger people need more food to actually sustain. So I think he's gonna be more tired out from being undernutritious, and I might just be thinking into it too much, or maybe not enough. Dexterous fighter it is. Your fighter evaded attacks for 5 minutes. Then he took one bit and passed out the same second. God damn. Bye, shirt. I'll miss you. First achievement in. Which does remind me, I forgot something. Let's actually... What doesn't do not disturb? Just enough friendly gamer tags are popping up. Now everyone's seeing you topless. It's hard to say who feels more uncomfortable, you or everybody else. Hey, that's insulting. Well, what are we doing here? Loafing about? I'll skin you alive, you vermin. I'm not gonna remember accents that I'm doing, so just bear with me. If I'm gonna hide, he's definitely gonna find me. I'm just gonna run out the hold. You didn't get far. The captain caught you. It seems that you will undergo a harsh interrogation. Ah, damn. Ah, the landlubber. So care to tell me who's behind these fights? Or maybe you'd like to meet the captain's daughter. I'm kinda curious because that's definitely a euphemism for something, especially with the brackets. And I'm somewhat curious to see what the captain's daughter is. At the same time, I don't want to die very, very soon. I'm gonna hold my tongue. Now you know what the captain's daughter is, and why it's better not to meet her. But at least now, the other sailors respect you. Guess I'll never know what the captain's daughter is. Cool. Thanks. Wonderful. The food is running out. The work doesn't stop. It's the second week already, and we still haven't seen America. Now we can't even have fun. Brothers, let's rise up against this tyranny. Yeah, I feel like this captain has things quite on lockdown for most parts. Or maybe not, I don't know. Like the fight club did happen. You found out, but everyone just ran away. So maybe together we are stronger. Nah, count me out. You were tied up and thrown into the hold, but at least I live. Okay, open the waves. We can actually move around. That's cool. Or something. We have some notes. We have the cannoneer and the captain. The boss of the ship, the captain. Okay. We don't have any items or skills. Cool. I'm an exhibitionist. One title earned. There are plenty to earn apparently. And 10 endings. Let's see what we're gonna get. If we're actually gonna get an ending and not die beforehand. Can we move anywhere? No. Okay. The walking is a little bit weird. It probably was a mean whip. Yeah, you might be right. Sailors went to mutiny. One of them stayed to watch you. The clanging of sabers, the roar of guns can already be heard above. I'm just gonna try to tie myself. The sailor doesn't see your efforts with the knots, though there's nothing to see. The ropes are tied properly. Great. Your half-naked guard. I guess he also lost the bet. He also bet on Dexter's dude. Your half-naked guard is getting cold and swears at you for having to watch you. I'm just gonna say nothing. Two spent the rest of the mutiny in pain. At last, the cannoneer enters the hold. Brothers, victory is ours. First order as your new captain. The old boss and his cronies kept the dinghy and paddled the hell away. Okay, that's great. Yeah, at least I don't have to go with him. Captain lost his left eye, and almost all his supporters are dead. Only 2 sailors and a navigator go with him on the boat. By some reason, when they go into the open sea, they smile in a suspicious manner. Kinda makes me think, I want to be on that boat, not on this ship. Eh. There's few of us now, but we'll manage. Let's celebrate. Yes, because the greatest thing we can do right now, of course, because we were running low on food, which was one of the reasons for the mutiny, is now that we have less people to feed, to instead of conserve our resources and make sure we actually make the trip, is just to feast and spend as much in the same amount of time with fewer people. That's a great plan. I feel like if I don't have a feast, he probably is not going to have a meal for a long time, so let's feast. And we get out. Great. There's plenty of food now. And even the armless cabin boy makes better meals than the late cook. Okay. And what's a feast without some gossip? Yeah, what's a feast without some gossip? Ah, brothers. What a life we'll live now. We'll sail wherever we want, and not to... Wait, what were we sailing to? Somewhere to America? Yeah, that part is clear, but where exactly? The captain told us about some medicine that can be smuggled. Real profitable. Pulling our lag, that's for sure. How could some bills be their way in gold? I'm not gonna question it. Or should I? I will, whatever. And if it's true, dream on. He kept mentioning some Oxford professor. Ha! You know these guys. 3 books on science, 27 on magic. Just gonna eat. Gossip gives way to singing and then to fighting. You just keep munching. Next morning, you go around the deck healthy, happy, and party. Storm, stay clear, you strays. The captain left as his parrot. Okay. Apparently there's a parrot. The parrot jumps on your shoulder and will wants to stay there forever. Even if you feed it. Okay. Apparently I have a parrot now. I'm half a pirate already. More days go by. No familiar stars in the sky. No land to be seen. The new captain gives orders every day. But does he really know what he's doing? Again, Captain? You sure we're headed the right way? Sure, I understand what the parrot's saying. Makes total sense. I saw land. That point on the horizon. Told you I know what I'm doing. Let's be realistic, it's probably still a long way to go. That dark cloud on the horizon, it's a sign of an approaching storm coming towards us. Let's be optimistic, why not? The cannoneer captain gives a very, very painful smile, and the navigator will look up from the helm. And see we manage without his scullery prattle. Can a bunch of low-experienced sailors control the ship in such a situation? Yes, the shore is close, but the storm is closer. Yeah, I actually don't think we're gonna be able to weather the storm, so let's just hope for the best. It is much more difficult to control the ship without an experienced navigator, especially when there's only a few people. You will make it to land before the storm. Oh, crack. If you could land before the storm begins, everyone would certainly survive, but if you're already in the hands of the storm, then being so close to land, on the contrary, very crack. Okay. Close mutiny, we open storm. Alright. Is there anything else we can see? It's just a very, very small map for now. Okay. Let's head for the storm. The main mast is cracking at the center and going to fall. You're standing right in its way. I actually don't think this is the worst idea. If the mast falls, especially if the sails are out, running aside might just do a good hit. Or if it cracks at the center, then it'll probably fall off a bit further away and not near the mast, especially since there's a storm. Probably overthinking things again. Run towards the mast. Slivers were flying everywhere, but by some miracle they didn't hit you. I'm still getting confused with the H and the B. I'm really not a fan of the H font. A huge wave lifts the ship and tilts it on its side. Sailors are sliding down the deck at risk of falling overboard. I'm gonna go with railings and not the thing that's loose and may also fall off. For some time you're hanging over the oceanic abyss, your fingers starting to bleed and unable to hold you any longer. Then the ship bobs onto the next wave and straightens up. Kinda doubt that. If your fingers are bleeding, you probably already lost grip anyway. Overthinking again, never mind. Don't panic. Hoist the boats out. We have 2 of them. There's enough for everyone. Now what's the bow and what's the stern? What makes me think one is better than the other? And bow. All sailors who are still alive are gathered to near the boat, but there's not enough seats for everyone. before the dinghy could be untied, the stabbing started. Oh my. No one wants to stay on the ship, and no one wants the dinghy to sink from being overloaded. Yeah, I think if I'm gonna enter the vessel, I'm probably gonna get stabbed and be hurt. I'll lay low. The detailed plan of saving yourself, written with reeds on the deck, seemed perfect before it was washed away by another wave. Okay. There's not so many sailors in the boat. Many of them won't need it anymore. But the fight is still going. Should you risk it? I'll watch. Successfully waited until everyone was washed from the deck by a 5-meter wave. Wonderful. You're paddling as hard as you can, but you don't move even 10 yards forward. A fragment of mast just fell into the water near you. If that had been a little to the left, you would have been underwater. Yeah, I think I'm gonna clutch on to the wood that might actually drift. No? Okay. For a moment it seems to help, but the next wave blows the mast out of your hands and almost drowns you in the watery depths. Great. Help me! Please help me! I'm drowning! Yeah, no. No, thank you. Rational egoist. Yeah. Rational. That's what I was going for. Former cannoneer, former captain of the ship, now he's formally alive. Oh, that's great. A huge wave covers you and pulls you somewhere at great speed. I kinda wish to know if the wave was going like towards the island. Like, is it coming from like the boat so it moves towards the island because that's what we're sailing to, or is it backwards? Logically, normally water goes towards the shore and, you know, clashes against the islands. So I'm gonna thrust my body into the waves and hope it takes me to land. Thanks to this wave, you got much closer to the shore. Yes, but it's unlikely you'll have such luck again. Storm, stroke, right. That was my best parrot impression. At least I tried. Do you know where to go? I'll follow you. The parrot seems smart. The parrot seems like the smartest creature in this entire game so far. So let's go for that. It's hard to say how can the parrot know anything about storms. When you follow him, you feel less tired. The shore is very close. Okay. You're very close to the shore, but now you're too exhausted to fight the storm. Yeah, you know, I kind of feel like giving up and relaxing in a storm is not really the way to survive it. Just, you know, it's not like I have a ton of experience with fighting storms, but, you know, it's not really the type of place where you can just sit back and relax, you know, so let's just try to survive this. By some miracle, you still had the strength to reach the shore. That's called adrenaline. But had it been a yard further, you would have drowned. But I haven't. Somehow you managed to get to the shore and crawl up to a place where the waves couldn't get you. That's a reason to be happy. Unfortunately, you're too exhausted. You descend into sleep. At least I'm shoreside. And hoping that the waves aren't going to drag me back into the sea while I'm asleep. The storm destroyed the ship. Nobody from the crew managed to survive. You alone were swept to an unknown, inhabited shore. You're alive, but for how long? Closed storm, opened islands. Okay. Now we actually have a bit of map. Cool. I feel like we've finished a tutorial. I wonder if a lot would change with the decisions we've made so far. Island. Tell me, island. Dayspring. Warning, I'm not gonna do the voice again. The parrot hops around your body, occasionally nipping on it. That's nice, I hope. I hope it's kindly to wake me up and not to, you know, eat me. Orlando had a breakfast. Orlando is good. Okay. Glad you're doing well. Rising to your feet, you see that the storm has subsided, but you can still see the horrible signs of the storm everywhere. Okay. I'm just gonna check out the shore. On the shore, you can already see the wreckage of the ship and the junk thrown up by the waves. It is unlikely that the sea will bring anything more interesting today. Fair. You are distracted from looking around by a loud rumbling in your stomach. Then all the wounds, bruises, and scrapes from last night come back to mind. I kind of feel like you can do both of these at the same time. Probably going into the forest and look for food is the best option. Sweet coconuts, bananas, and dates. All of which you didn't see on the island. Awesome. Okay, so no bananas, coconuts, or dates. So I'm guessing a lot of tree fruit is out of the question. I don't think he's going to be able to hunt for anything, successfully at least. So staying on the beach doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's actually go into the forest. Flowers smell really weird. The first mushroom you eat makes you dizzy. And berries look more dangerous than all the animals that are probably already watching you. Great. Very nearby, on top of a cliff, you see a fat seagull not noticing you. I mean, if it's a fat seagull, then he's not that hard to hit, right? And sneaking up is never gonna work. I don't think it will. The stone almost hits the target, but hits the rock just below the seagull, bounces off, and bouncing off the rock flies right into your face. Great. I just love this answer. I'm gonna probably stare. The rock was unimpressed with your bravery. Smashed it to your forehead in a way that knocked you off your feet. You think it's a crack in your skull? A crack in the rock? A crack in the rock? Okay. Perhaps it was the correct answer. Wow. In a crack at the base of the cliff, a beautiful plant with fragrant leaf grows. Just looking at it makes you drool. That was the worst thing that could happen. You only wanted to try it, but hunger made you lose your head. Soon you've eaten everything. The whole bush with the flowers and the roots. Wonderful. I love the wording of everything. The plant tastes bitter, a little spicy, but satiating. Still, is it poisonous or not? Gonna wait. Nice! Slowly but surely you are getting better and better. It's like a miracle plant. Even bruises and cuts don't hurt as much as they used to. 2 hearts, wow. We're on 4 hearts. How could this plant help so much? You don't think it grew here just to heal you after a shipwreck. There must be others just like it. Okay, we pondered. The eastern shore of the semicular bay may be littered with shipwrecks, but the fallen trees on the western shore may be useful for building shelter. You know, again, I don't really see why this would have to be a choice, because you can also use the wood from the shipwreck to help build your shelter. They're probably also already processed and might actually be better than just fallen trees. Probably more manageable too. East. The signs of a shipwreck makes you desperate. Not so long ago, you were at home. I'd never thought of the sea. But now... You find the bodies of several sailors and the gunner's hat, but not the gunner himself. I'm gonna search the bodies first. Cursory examination of the corpses found nothing useful, and soon you begin to get sick of the sight of dead bodies. Makes sense. You find a fish on the sand, but so do angry seagulls. The seagulls can eat the bodies. Seagulls swoop down and peck you mercilessly. Were the fish worth it? Probably wasn't then. At last you have reached the end of the bay. Not far away from you, a large box is bobbing on the waves. You can see an upturned dinghy on the headland opposite from you. Get on the crate and swim to the dinghy on it. No, I'm gonna pull the crate ashore. Turned out to be a box of carpentry tools. We'd have to go back for it to fix the dinghy. Okay. The dinghy is damaged, but it can still be repaired, even with your questionable skills. Yeah, you gotta learn somehow. Fix the dinghy. You had to swim back for the toolbox, and then back, and only then take on the job. As a result, you're dead tired. Okay, fair enough. You've patched up the dinghy. Now it won't be enough to reach the wrecked ship or the mysterious cave darkening among the rocks, but that's all tomorrow. You lie in the bottom of the boat and fall into a restless sleep. All night long you dream of a shipwreck and the raging sea. Wonder why? Wonder what would spark that. Okay, we have cave and shipwreck. Cool. Let's see. Is there... No? Okay. Yeah, it's actually a bit easier. Thank you very much. Let's save just to be sure. Wish you could speed up the cursor. Kinda wonder where the shipwreck is though. Not that I'll go for it, because based on everything with the mutiny and the feasting, I doubt there's much on the ship. Unless it's supposed to be a different ship, but I don't think it is. The cave might actually hold something valuable, so let's go there. Oh yeah, he's still shirtless. Wonderful. It seems that the only time you can get into the cave is at low tide. You have a rare chance to see it. Actually wouldn't be a terrible idea. Or maybe it would be. No, just get into the cave normally. As soon as you get inside, the dinghy is swept away by the waves. You have to run back after it to keep it from floating away altogether. Awesome. Yeah, we'll go in the cave with the dinghy. The dinghy's stuck in the rocks. You'll have to push it out later. Well, at least it won't float away. Well, you know, I figured he at least would have figured that out, you know? So I thought using dinghy to go inside the cave would mean at the high tide, so there would actually be water in. He had to... whatever. The tunnel gradually ascends as you climb up. You see that its walls are illuminated by strange glowing mushrooms. I mean, you ate yesterday. Let's use this as a flashlight. Next thing you know, down more and more of these mushrooms, and your hands are now full. You only have to get one. Climbing a little more, you notice some sort of golden glint in the distance. Let's be careful. You're slowly creeping forward. Creeping. The golden glint doesn't seem dangerous. Sneaking down a very long tunnel. How did you know sneaking could be so boring? Yeah, I'm gonna keep sneaking. You sneak, and finally you reach it. The tunnel ends in a hole in the ground. You're lucky to see it in time to avoid falling in. That's why you sneak. You finally made it out of the tunnel. You see a big-sized grotto, and in the middle of it, wow! Chests of gold, sacks of spices, rows of sabers and rifles, crates of all sorts of goods, and a veritable tower of rum kegs. Well, at least if he's to die, he can die drunk. And if he wants to make it quick, he can die drunk and shoot himself. After a moment, you come across your sense and tear your gaze away from such unexpected treasures. If you have found this treasure, then it's mine! God sent you this miracle as a reward for your righteousness. Uh-huh. Thought you never remembered where your righteousness came from. Though you never remembered. You track things and realize that all the chests, bags, and boxes are bald as they are. You have to take a long time to sort out where useful and where necessary or spoiled. I'll move everything. Okay. It turned out that not everything would fit in the dinghy. In the narrow tunnel in the light of the mushrooms, you had to decide which crates to leave behind. One crate, of course, fell onto your foot. And inside, of course, were cannonballs. After pulling one particularly large chest away, you notice another tunnel, but it's flooded with water. I'm not gonna take chances. There's plenty of useful stuff in this cave as it is. Exactly. Emptying the cave, you find a rifle of simply masterful workmanship. In Europe, you could not buy such a thing, even saving money all your life. Yeah, I don't think firing a rifle in a pitch dark tunnel is the wisest idea, so I just put it in the boat. He wasn't drunk yet. You've become an example for future shipwreck survivors. An example of how not to survive. Wonderful. Oh, really? Just a checkpoint at the cave. Okay. Yeah, stuck on the rocks. Let's see how it tastes now that we're here. Wonderful. A faint glow emanated from your abdomen for a while, and then the intense burning began. Great. I mean, we can't just fix this issue, see what it says when we actually die, because I can get my life back. Rush out there! As you accelerated, you didn't notice that the tunnel ended with a hole in the ground. Oh no, who knew? As you flew down, you had a thought that you should be more careful. You're dead now, you have no more choices. Okay. RP. Okay, thank you. How nice. Wow. You've traveled all over the cave, but you haven't found the owner of the cache. Well, that must have been a pirate or a smuggler, which means you deserve these things a lot more. Fine. Things got easier when you're energized and harder when you're drunk. Okay. How long will you, Catalina, abuse our patience? I'm actually not surprised the parrot followed me, so I'm gonna go with the more casual response. What are you doing here? You're so dignified. Because you're annoying. Okay. Friend, fellow citizen, hear me. I know how to get off this island. Now there's two of you? The parrots are in no way puzzled by your question. They must have been practicing. Okay. I would never want to look up at the sky. This is your salvation. To the stars. To the thorns. I'm just gonna keep up your drunkenness. What a performance. The three of you went to tell the story. Best of all, of course, are the 5 parrots. So dive in, surf the vastness, the new day will be bigger. I think I'm about to die. The good news, diving into the underwater maze sobered you up. The bad news, you dived into the underwater maze. Okay, wonderful. I'm about to die, really, let's be honest. Maybe if I go right, it will be alright. Another fork on the way, you hear something ringing. That's strange, ringing beckons to you, but you can't figure out where it's coming from. Straight. The source of the ringing is getting closer. The air in your lungs is getting smaller. Right again. It seems that through hardship you would come to your goal, but in the end you ended up at a dead end, with a pile of decayed bones at the bottom of it. Yes, yes, you can finally breathe for real again. Ahead is another cave, smaller and glowing. Its floor is scrawled with writings unknown to you, and on a pedestal in the center lies a strange mask. What's the worst thing that can happen touching a creepy mask? We'll take the mask. Item received. Alright, bloody wounds immediately appear in your hands. Stealing artifacts from the dungeon is harmful to your health. Okay. Was that a notice? As in, whenever you steal something, it's really gonna hurt you? Or was it more narrational? I wonder. Kept us from your pet, has appointed you as his new master, and accepts no objections. Great. Alright, let's see. An ancient mask. The protection spell on this mask should have torn you to shreds, but the priest was paid too little for the job. Jeez. Right, we do have another title. It's a sink or swim world, that's for sure. Alright, back to the big cave. You've memorized the way back, but you're so exhausted you almost don't have the energy to collect anything else. Wow. You've hauled everything useful in the cave. Despite your hard work, you're cold. It's too cold to sleep here, and the entrance will probably be flooded by the tide. Yeah, that'll do. You are fortunate enough to find such abundance in the cave. Exactly. It's time to get back to the island. It's just a matter of getting the dinghy out to sea. I kind of feel like waiting for the tide would be smart, but I'm not sure if my character's smart enough to get the timing right. So I'm just gonna push. Alright, it just fell 3 times. Awesome. Thanks. You spend so much time and energy on the cave that you can hardly make it to the ship. The next storm will tear it to pieces and the weather is already starting to turn bad. Okay. We'll never see the shipwreck. Goodbye, shipwreck. You won't be missed. Terrible memories are around. Let's head to the beach. When the dinghy is close to shore, the wind begins to carry it away from the shore. Great. Your perseverance deserves respect, but you've only recently been carrying heavy sacks and crates. You've only got bloody calluses on your hands. You've been fighting for your life to the bitter end. And Dread was very bitter indeed. Thanks, game. Let's go with the flow then. While you were sunbathing and enjoying rum from the supplies, the current dragged the boat past the reef. Lucky, or was it? There's a rocky cape ahead, and the dinghy is being carried straight towards it. Yeah. Let's see if we can turn it around. You managed to direct the dinghy onto the overgrown shore before it crashes into the rocks. Yeah, don't think rocks give for a soft landing. You managed to sail to shore and unload your supplies onto land before the dinghy sprung a leak. Wonderful. And that from amateur craftsmanship. I'm proud. Let's make a fire and rest. You still couldn't find a rock that would be a comfortable pillow. Unfortunately, the rest didn't work out. Inspect the find. Okay. A lot of things had fallen into this repair. They had been in the cave too long. But the most useful things were preserved. An excellent duffel bag, 2 bundles of supplies, carpentry tools, and many, many bottles of rum. Take the essentials. Item received, equipment. Great. An old arquebus, a small barrel of gunpowder, and a rusty saber. With this, you'll go to conquer the desert island. The dinghy is no longer of any use to you. It is now completely collapsed. All that's left is to explore the forest ahead. I think I'm good. Going into the woods. 2 steps later, you turn around and realize you can't see the shore anymore. Okay. Trees on the right, trees on the left. There are also trees above. Low, for a change. Very swampy soil. Let's head forward. Half an hour later, you have successfully crept 10 or 20 yards ahead. You are desperately jealous of the parrot, who manages in half a minute. Sailor fool! Fool! Food nearby! If you're so smart, shoot away! Orlando is not fool, the parrot cried and flew away. A ship can't make a better ally. You lose sight of the parrot pretty quickly, but you notice that the trees are getting smaller and the sunset is glistening in the distance. I'll carefully make my way to the light. Wonderful! As you slowly crawl towards the evening, bitches woke up and decided to snack on you. Your Precaution paid off handsomely. Great. A jungle picked your bones clean in a week. Jeez. That's harsh. If I'll die, I'll die. True diligence and an insane amount of luck, you managed to safely dock at the cape, but the dinghy splits, some of its cargo falls into the water. Sure. In the process of diving, it turns out that it's easier to lift weights in the water, but your lungs are suspiciously small. Great. I want to see the rest of the answers. Maybe the waves will carry everything ashore. Maybe, but for now, they aren't carrying anything anyway. Wait a little while. You wait, waiting. The waves bring one small box to shore. Wait a little longer. Master of waiting. Patience. Finally, you've got your entire shipment back. Wow. Maybe I can make a fire and rest here. I can! You found a cozy crack in the rock that sheltered you from the wind and made a fire. Oh my god. Actually got a better result out of that. That's amazing. A lot of things had fallen into disrepair. They had been in the cave for too long. Yada yada. Take the essentials, equipment. Great. I'm liking this rock. I'm gonna climb it. Soon you were visited by philosophical thoughts. First of all, you were lucky to keep your life in the shipwreck. And secondly, slippery rocks can end it quickly. Oh jeez. The further you climb, the less you like this cape, this island, and it's a remarkable life. Take a nap and regain your strength. A nap while climbing a cliff. Sometimes this game is a little bit too literal, and sometimes it's not literal enough. Jeez. Okay. Finally, you've climbed to the top of the cave. The view from up here is spectacular. Literally, it makes you shake to realize that, huh? Okay. This seems delusionally happy, I'll go with that. I'm on a desert island, yay! Your fondest wish has come true. Sure. Once you've had a look around, you can go down. So, do you think the slope of the cape is not as steep as the other one? Curse your luck. The curse has had no effect on your situation. Well, at least your soul is relieved. As you descend from the cape, you notice a wide and deep crack in the rocks. It looks like a good place to stay for the night. All look aside. The crack is also deep, but you are no suspicious noises coming from there, which makes it even more suspicious. The deeper you squeeze inside the cliff, the darker it gets around you. Logical, but very uncomfortable. I think I'm gonna burn myself to death. Magician! Okay, great. From your pockets that have never been mentioned before, you take out a firebrand to light the torch. Oh, Jesus, game. The burning rag shines well, but smells even better. Okay. Suddenly the crack widens abruptly, turning into a fairly wide cave. It is dry, warm, and very empty. Inspect the walls. The walls seem solid and thick. The ceiling here is unlikely to collapse, but the stone is such that the simplest tools are enough to chisel it down. useful. Let's search the cave. Fortunately, the cave was free of mold, dangerous animals, and scary old goats. And it did have a small fresh water source. Nice. Lose weight dramatically. Jeez. You're about to climb out of the cave, but then you realize that it's much harder to get into the crack from this side than from that side. I just spent the night here, and dead. Great. You'll sleep soundly on an uneven stone floor and on an empty stomach. Quietly. And you'll feel fine. After half an hour, it became too painful to fool yourself. Okay. I'm gonna go with the cave. The cave has been so funny. Gonna wait. And we'll wait. Oh yeah. Yeah. Start climbing. Let's climb on. Fortunately, this is a high cave and not a mountain. Soon enough, you reach an almost flat area and can walk in peace. Great. Let's go for a different one. Logical and sensible. I'm on a desert island. Yeah, I see. The seagull who has been admiring you all this time even choked on such a strange reaction. Calmly go downstairs. The most sensible course of action and the most boring. Yeah. I just love this. From pockets that have never been mentioned before. Just to make it canon that I've done that. Find a way out. As you search for a way out, you come across a boulder with a wind noise coming from behind it. Maybe it's a way out, or maybe it's just a small crack. One thing is for sure, the boulder is unusually large and heavy. Stupid boulder. Mega kicker, love it. You kick the boulder with all your might, and it rolled away without a problem. Life is full of surprises. Behind the boulder was an exit to a small rocky area. A stream and a grove of trees could be seen nearby. And in the distance above the dense forest, a familiar parrot flies in circles and shouts. Kinda tempted. Let's head to my bed. It's a long walk, but the parrot won't give you bad advice. You make your way through a thick, dangerous, unfamiliar forest. Unfamiliar. It's very exciting, but in moderation. After half an hour, you get bored. Let's think. 1. Drag stuff into the cave. 2. Hollow out new passages in the cave for supplies. 3. Find food in the middle of the bare rocks. Somehow life is getting too complicated. Yeah. The forest suddenly ended and a small valley opened up. Just studded with fruit trees and berry bushes. Yeah, let's be careful. You didn't find anything poisonous, so you can eat. 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 This valley is a paradise. Plants with fruit, a river with fish, safe cliffs, and no wild animals are to be found here. This is the wrong answer, but also the funny one. It's an excuse to continue the feast. And then you get life. Awesome. Having calmed your hypochondria, you continued eating the fruits of the valley. How delicious everything is here. This place is unbelievable. There's enough food here to last you for years, if you eat it in moderation. But what is moderation when everything smells so delicious? I mean, it's a hike away. Like, the cave is safe. We don't know what's in the forest. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the cave. After such a day, it was hard to say goodbye to this paradisiacal place. Paradisiacal, I've never heard of that before. Towards nightfall, you were already exhausted. Your eyes closed and your legs could hardly walk. When I reached the cape. In the dark, tired and sweaty, you reached the cave at the cape. There, you erected a tent and collapsed into it unconsciously. The night in the tent was uneventful. On the fresh head, you realized that there are few materials for a solid dwelling in the area, but there are materials for building in the forest ahead of you. After gathering weapons, tools, and some dry supplies in your duffel bag, you set out to explore the forest. Alright. Let's head to the forest. No, not allowed to. Okay. If the rainforest, you can find materials to build a camp and food. It's a good idea to explore it. Didn't he just sleep? Giant trees shelter you from the scorching sun with their shade. One step, another. Then you can no longer see the edge of the forest behind you. From somewhere far away comes the singing of unknown birds. Leaves rustle in the light breeze. The atmosphere brings calmness and thoughts of unity with nature. I'm not gonna rest on my laurels. Surely this is the calm before the storm. But what if a dangerous predator is already on your trail? You're getting paranoid. You have to be prepared for anything. You don't know what kind of difficulties you will face, so it's better to get some melee weapons right away. Let's just check my gear. In front of you is your hard-earned gear. The only thing that reminds you of civilization. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with the saber, because while the gun is easier, obviously better, I don't think there's gonna be an endless supply of ammo. So, saber. This weapon has seen a lot of action. Some bent, some rusty. You'd have to be pretty good to cut yourself with one of these. It's only good for clearing jungles. It's called shadow boxing, normally. Let's shadow fence. A couple of swings make it clear that this blade is poorly balanced. Okay? It's not going to be very effective in combat. Chop the jungle. You cut a few meters of jungle and the saber hilt began to shake. Nice. That's enough. The saber is of little use in any combat encounters, but can sometimes help out. Let's check the gun then. Within minutes you were pouring powder into the barrel, then pushing the bullets through and finally loading the gun. The target was a bright yellow flower in the tree in front of you. The bullet flew somewhere close to the tree and didn't even hit the trunk. Yeah, that's probably enough. The accuracy and loading speed of this gun leave a lot to be desired. It's not going to help much when fighting. Yeah. In front of you is a hard... we already see that. Sorry. Figure out the odds of survival. This gear can be useful, but it's better to have something more reliable on hand. Yeah, I think spear is gonna be more lethal. You should keep your enemies at a distance, or better yet, throw a pointed object at them from a decent distance. Yeah, you know what? If you're gonna build a spear, don't throw it. Because first of all, I don't really think you have the tools to balance it out. So it's not gonna be great for that. And on the other hand, if you have a spear, and it's your one weapon, and then you throw the spear, then you no longer have the spear. And you're out of weapons until you grab the spear again, but it's already with your enemy. So it's truly hit or miss. And if it's miss, it's really bad. So don't do that. We're gonna stab the bushes. You imagine yourself in the front of ranks of a row of bravely pikemen and bravely stab the nearest bush. It quickly dies of severe wounds. Wow. Okay. Weapons are now plentiful, but something is clearly missing. How else could the riches of the forest be used? We're going with disguise, because I'm suspecting that the biggest threat is going to be wildlife and not other people. And wildlife is just going to be scared away with the armor because it's going to be noisy, even if he's going to be able to craft it, but whatever. Disguise just make him harder to see, and that works against both human foes as well as animals. So, disguise. To successfully hide from the eyes of the enemy and make the most unexpected attacks, you color your face and fix as many leaves on your clothes as possible. Yep. You feel much safer now. It's time to go looking for food. You don't want to search for resources with an empty stomach. You have a gun and a huge appetite that can't be quenched by dry gillets. We're gonna hunt the beast. Nothing tastes better than meat, so you strain all your instincts to get on the trail of your victim. The victim is found surprisingly quickly. The hoof trail leads deep into the woods. Incredible luck. Not sure. Let's follow. You remember the great Michael's technique and started sniffing out trails. Soon a spacious clearing opens up in front of you, at the opposite end of which stands a lone goat munching something of a bush. A goat is eating a bright yellow fruit from a bush. You don't know. Saliva runs down your chin. If a goat eats it, a human can eat it too. Yeah, probably. Let's sneak up. Invisible. The prey notices the moving bush and decides to try the leaves off your head, realizing that you are not so tasty. The goat returns from whence it came. Wow. Okay. A large black cat suddenly jumps into the clearing. The goat bleats fearfully, but does not move. You find yourself between the two animals. I think running to the goat would just expose myself to the Black Panther. And the goat will run away, which means it's probably going to be Panther versus me. And again, I might just be overthinking. Well, if I attack the Panther, it doesn't seem like it has realized I'm here yet. So if I attack it now, then maybe I can get a sneak attack in on it and use the spear to do some sneakily stabby damage. So we're gonna attack the Panther. You rush towards the enemy to shorten the distance, but it makes an incredible leap. Okay. You instinctively dug down and noticed the long and graceful body of the most dangerous predator sweeping over you. I'm gonna grab the tail. I figured. You managed to grab hold of the panther's tail, and it drags you along the ground, as if it doesn't notice. Your ribs feel the painful impact of every stone. The Clods of earth that come out from under the powerful paws of the beast, still lunging at the unfortunate goat, are stuffed into your mouth. In a moment, you'll be the animal's next target. Grab the balls, hold him, restrain him, I don't know. You grab the panther's hind paw and pull it towards you. Taking advantage of the beast's confusion, you bring both paws into your strong embrace. A strong embrace. Suddenly, you feel the impact. Panther with you is thrown a few meters aside. Staying on the ground, you see a goat breathing heavily above you. I said, you are truly impressed with the brave support from the goat and feel that the fight may end in your favor. The panther barely gets up from the ground. Tucking her front paw, she looks at you with a weary look, as if deciding whether or not to continue the battle. Yell. You let out the primal scream of a man ready to fight for life. The goat heroically bleeds along with you. Wonderful. The panther snorts noisily and, limping, walks away from the clearing, leaving you and the goat alone. You look at each other. I needed food. I got 2 pets now. The gratitude is clearly mutual. The animal turns its head towards the edge of the clearing, as if trying to point something out to you. You look again at the yellow fruit that the goat was eating. You're not an expert botanist. The berry is completely unfamiliar to you. You split the fruit in half, wanting to share with your new friend, but the goat wasn't around. Apparently it had some urgent goat business to attend to. I'll save a little. If not for the goat, it's for myself. Carefully snacking on the unusual fruit, you notice small seeds inside. Just in case, you keep a handful of these seeds for yourself. Very, very smart. Once we start building that shelter that it's definitely been trying to get me to do, well, we can make a garden. Towards the end of the day, you reach the edge of the forest. A fragrant plain opens up ahead, with a flat hill in the center of it. This plateau looks friendlier than the barren area around the headland. It must be a good place to camp. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Speaking of black clad, apex predator, come here. Come here, you. Come. Up. Hi. You wanna go outside again? Should I get you outside again? I'll get you outside again. We'll also grab a drink, so be right back. And we're back. Okay. Just gonna save because I'm curious to see where we stand. And still chapter 2. Okay. Let's see if we can make it to the end of chapter 3. I think that'd be fair. Probably around 35 more minutes or so that we're gonna stream. Leaving the forest behind, you hit a steep slope. The climb doesn't look very high. It shouldn't be too hard to climb. Sure, what gives. You climb up, try not to slip. After a while the strength ran out, but only half of the slope was overcome. Look up. You raise your head to the sky. From below, the mountain seemed much lower, but there was nowhere to go. The sun is sinking, hurrying you on your way. In your last breath, you make a dash for it and finally find yourself on top of a small plateau, illuminated by the sun's rays. Let's admire the view. From here, you can see practically the whole island. On the other side of the plateau stretches a large field, and beyond it, a lonely cape. The altitude protects you from predators, and at the foot of the creek with freshwater gurgles, this is the perfect place for a base. It's time to name the new home. Insubordinate fort. I feel that's inappropriate because I did not attend the mutiny and I did not try to fool the guards, so Lone Wolf Castle, maybe? Survivor's Fortress? Very boring, so we're gonna go with Lone Wolf. You have imagined your future base in a reflection of romantic soul. You are the lone master of your life, wanted by no one, lost in the middle of blue waters on a wild island. You sigh for a long time, gazing into the distance with a very important look. The name of the base had been decided. All that's left is to build it. After a lot of work with your hands, you have built a simple tent, and the remaining sticks were used for the beginnings of the fence. Is something missing? I'm gonna go with fire. I like the rocking chair idea. Should definitely go for it. Relaxation is important, but I kind of feel like very hot during the day in the sun is what it's kind of hinted towards with the shades of the trees giving you shelter. And if it's very hot days, it's very cold nights usually, so let's build a fire. It was starting to get colder, so fire was just right. After a little handwork, the base became noticeably cozier. Is something else needed? I don't have any resources left. At first you were sad, but then you remembered that there are tons of resources on the island. All you have to do is collect them. By the time you were done setting up the base, the sun had already disappeared over the horizon. You raise your head to the sky, looking up at the multitude of stars. Perhaps somewhere out there is the constellation of your good fortune. Now I'm just gonna wish for a shooting star. While you were wondering what to wish for, you got drowsy. There were voices behind you. Who's there? No response. You notice two dark silhouettes by the fire. The plague 300 years earlier, and now this redhead has settled on the island. Are you sure he won't be a problem? Ooh, there are inhabitants, and they had to deal with some people back in the past. Hooded figures. Curious. Sudden twist. I like it. Let's listen. Strange sailor. Guards said that he won't have long to live. Either the jungle will eat him up, or the pirates will finish him off. Hey, who the hell are you? Your own scream sounds distant, muffled, and the two silhouettes gradually disappeared. You jump up sharply, so much so that you hit your forehead on the roof of the tent. It was all just a dream? Yeah, let's come to my senses. It didn't take you long to think about the meaning of the dream. Soon you remembered that you had to survive. Early morning, new island, new life. Should you take a second chance and change your life for the better? I mean, no, it's pretty bad. Has to work the entire day to get resources and food, does not need exercise. Kind of feel like this would just tire him out, so no, it's not bad enough actually. The sun is rising from the horizon, the weather is wonderful today. Something to do. Set up a base. We're gonna work on it now. It's base time. No man has ever set foot here. There are bushes and grass everywhere. Grass. Using a rusty saber, you manage to cut the grass to the same length. You've just invented the lawn. Wow. The plateau is spread out before you. Your base, your tent. Obviously, this is just the beginning of the journey. Yeah, let's make a plan. You've got the dimensions of the lot by eye. Some house will definitely fit here. Oh wow, that's a short day to play. You feel like you're alive for a reason. Maybe you have a purpose. And then there's this strange dream. The important thing now is to survive. You spend days and nights thinking about it. Birdsong marks the coming of morning, and the sound from the stomach area reminds you that it's time for breakfast. Catch a bird. Upon seeing the red-headed raptor, the birds fell silent and flew back into the forest. Wonderful. Wonderful. Either survival instinct or rational thinking tells you to look for food, for a food source. To the north you can see a field where you can grow something, and beyond the field is something shiny, like water. To the south you can see the forest through which you came here, and the headland where you were swept by the currents. It's time to decide how to get food. Yeah, hunting wasn't the greatest last time around. Did make a friend. Valley of the Light is probably quite far. I think cultivate, because we do have the seeds from the one plant. Now, that is not going to be a short-term plan, but maybe I get resources in the sack anyway. I kind of feel like this game is going to try to test me, and I'm not sure how much it's going to save from everything. But I kind of want to do cultivate. And I'll probably lose a heart because I'm not getting food right away. But I think down the line it might actually be the better option. So I'm gonna go with that. Cultivate. Seeds, field, plant. It's time to embark on your adventure. After gathering your belongings, you approach the slope, looking out over the expansive field. Let's carefully go down. You were so afraid of falling that you were nervous and tripped. Fortunately, the ground at the bottom was soft. Even falling there feels good. Wow. Shaking off the ground, you check your pockets. You still have the seeds of the mysterious fruit, which means it's time to go to the field to grow your own food. With one last look back at the top of the plateau, you smile at the top of the tent, visible from here. I promise to return to base soon. I think we're doing well. Oh, just interactive. Delay in audio's that bad, huh? Wow. That's something. The most disturbing sound some of these animals make. Okay, if you say so. Let's head for the field. Unexpected event! We got an event. You are stopped by a sharp bait in your foot. An unknown plant sprout is sticking out of your foot. Its thorns oozing red liquid. Okay. So I was thinking the red liquid was probably some sort of sap, maybe. Like syrup that you would get from a maple tree, but not syrup, but something like that, you know? It was blood. It was blood. When you look at your wounded leg, you get blurry-eyed and dizzy. Either the poison has kicked in, or you're a very impressionable person. Yeah, I don't really think anyone's gonna help me. If anything, that Black Panther is gonna return to help me stop the bleeding by making sure the heart stops pumping. So let's just calm down. You have gathered your will and promised yourself not to die. There's no telling how long you will be able to keep that promise. Love it. You exhaled and decided to find out where the sprouts you stepped on led. The investigation led you to a bush with bright pink flowers. Try to remember. You took another look at the thorns and unlocked a painful memory from your childhood when you once fell into a bristle bush. Surely that was it. You felt ashamed of yourself for panicking so violently over a harmless plant. Then again, who doesn't panic on a desert island? Let's walk away. Now that the threat of death from poison is out of the way, you continue your journey, taking each step carefully. Okay. We're at the fields. Ahead is a spacious field with low grass blown by the wind from the sea. The plowman's work is hard, but you are ready for it. Let's do it. Not gonna procrastinate. Who doesn't work, doesn't eat? The prospect of starving to death is not at all pleasant. Already ready to plow, you realize that you don't have the right tools at all. There aren't many resources, so you have to choose what you'd rather spend them on. Okay, with a shovel. By somehow attaching a sheet of bark to a solid branch, you have a simple but economical shovel that will shuffle for at least a short while. Jeez. The weeds are already terrified of your formidable appearance. Now it's time to ruthlessly uproot them from the ground. Yeah. let's do a proper job. You tried so hard that the shovel broke almost immediately, hitting something hard on the ground. Left without tools, you dig into the ground with your hands and pull out a small half-rotten chest without the lock. At the bottom is a bottle of murky liquid and a yellow piece of paper rolled up in a tube. Yeah. Read the paper. Tincture of coconut, pepper, and something else. Age at least a year. Oh, my apologies. Bottling date 36532. Um, With a noisy exhale, you gulp down every drop. The sweetness, bitterness, and spice in a mad cocktail thrown down your throat to your stomach. For a few seconds you stare at one point, trying to assess your own condition. After another minute you feel a surge of vitality. The drink, made of coconut pepper and something else, was extremely tonic. You felt so much energy that you were able to plow a huge area with your bare hands without feeling a drop of fatigue. Everything is ready for sowing. You wish you knew how to do it properly. Let's plant. Randomly scattered a handful of seeds and lightly covered them with soil, hoping that would be enough to get any yield at all. Maybe in a year time. Seriously. While thinking about watering, you stumbled upon a small lake. What a find! Wash up. It feels so good to wash the sweat from this horrible heat off your face. 5 lives now. From the lake, you can see a pile of rocks protruding above the trees. Maybe there's something interesting there. It's too far to go there now, though. And then back to the crops. As you walk, you ponder your future plans. It's worth exploring these rocks sometimes, because there might be something useful for survival. The field is under attack by crows. They're pecking at the precious seeds. You try to intimidate the birds by yelling, but their calling is much louder. Let's shoot. You fire into the air, and the birds, startled by the noise, soar into the sky. Very well. The crows are still circling the field, but they are already afraid of you. You need to reinforce their fear of humans. Gonna shoot them. The gun jams as it happens, and you can't get a shot off. While you're trying to fix it, it suddenly shoots into the ground, scarring you into stuttering. Not a single bird was hurt, but they were all frightened at once and immediately flew away. When you thought the problem was solved, you noticed another bird out of the corner of your eye. Let's take a closer look. You get over your anchor and take a closer look. Turns out it's the Captain's Parrot Orlando, and he's not even pecking at your crops. Thank you, Orlando. True friend. The sailor is no longer a sailor, but a farmer. How we're going? Of course! It's going great. You tell your parrot about what a luxurious base you have and how many delicious fruits are about to grow, but he looks on in disbelief. There's a bush. Tobacco, tobacco. You're gonna smoke. Follow. Orlando is flying west to the high hills, and you're trying to keep up with him. The parrot leads you to the edge of the field and sits on one of the bushes with large green leaves. Without Orlando's help, you might have mistaken this plant for a common weed. Praise Orlando. Orlando happily flaps his wings and chants, Orlando is a good boy. Orlando, he's a good boy. Let's inspect the bushes. There were a dozen tobacco bushes growing in this spot, but the leaves look wilted on all of them. They seem to be having a hard time growing in this environment. You may not have had the urge to smoke, but you could use some good tobacco. Who knows? Maybe it's actually a very tasty variety. Jeez. Man. Cut the leaves. By selecting the largest leaves, you gathered yourself a small armful that is yet to be dried. When you look around, Orlando was nowhere to be seen. It looked like he flew off on his own. You were tired enough already, so it was time to go back to base. When you looked around, as you walked through the field, you surveyed the crops with the hope that no one else would attack them. Great. Okay. Final stretch. Layer of apes. We're gonna head back to the sanctuary. Just feels right. As you stumble down the slope, you regret your short-sightedness. You should have thought of a way back to base. Okay, sorry. It's good to be home again. Yes, it's still a bit empty. You may live on a deserted island for the rest of your life, but that'll do. All in all, it's not that bad. Yes, the island is full of dangerous predators, but you didn't drown in a shipwreck. There are pros and cons to everything. You've been pondering your fate until dark. Now that you have a household of your own, you need to get a good night's sleep and get your strength up. The floor of the tent, covered with leaves, seemed like a feather bed after a hard day's work. Sleep come over me like a dream. The biblical flood has begun. There's water everywhere. Terror envelops you. I'm gonna pinch myself. You feel no pain. Lucky you. It's just a nightmare. Do a somersault. You unnaturally swim out of the water and do a somersault mortal. How cool to realize it's a dream. The nightmare dream is over, but there's still water all around. Outside, the rain is pounding down. The whole tent is soaked. The cold rain quickly awakened you and forced you into action. You started running, hustling, and trying to salvage supplies. The tent no longer protects you or your stuff. It won't be long before everything gets wet. Let's dance. Let's dance. The rain doesn't stop, it's pouring even harder. How good it is to dance when no one's around. You sang and danced for half an hour and got a charge of good mood. The clouds are clearing away and it's now abundantly clear to you that you can't live in a shack like this for long. It's time to build a substantial dwelling. The descent was quick. During this time, you have already gotten accustomed to your new base and its peculiarities. As you skirted the plateau looking for materials, you noticed a vine on the sunny side of the slope. Try it. The flavor is sour. The grapes are either underripe or just wild. Either way, you can't get enough of it. You remembered the place and went on to find materials for the house. With the rainforest in front of you, it's now up to you to decide what diameter logs you need. for your new home. Um, I don't want to say thin, more spacious. You know, if you have a difference between this, this size logs as a wall, or this, you know, that's space for your living. At the same time, it's not that much difference, and thick should last longer, so we're gonna go thick. The house will be strong and sturdy. Lucky, there are trees of suitable length right at the foot of the island. You don't have to haul them all the way from the other side of the island. Let's go for it. There were no tools left in the duffel bag. Even though you managed to find a broken axe on the plateau, the work was still unbearably hard. Wonderful. To chop enough logs, you had to work many days. You are, to put it mildly, tired, and put it too crudely. Of course you overworked and took an axe to the leg. You have cut enough logs for both the house and the fence. All that's left is to get them up to the plateau. Let's tie them together. Ah, jeez. While you were hauling the logs in that devilishly heavy way, you got a hernia. The house wasn't worth it. With a massive wide ladder, things went quickly. In 3 days you hauled all the timber upstairs. Okay. Second half is to assemble the log cabin. You have to work the axe again. Okay. Several unsuccessful attempts to assemble the log home led to the idea of cutting cups so that the logs would fit lightly together. By the end of the third day, you had a square house with 10-foot sides. A severely unsuccessful attempt to assemble the log home led to the idea of cutting. Just reading the same stuff again. Yes, let's see what we do. If there's no roof on it, it's not really a house, is it? Put the roof on. There's a lot of thick grass on the plateau, and it was perfect for a roof. It can keep out the rain and keep the house warm. Great. Let's cut in the window. Now you have a view of the center of the island. It's beautiful. For now, it's just a doorway, but in the future, the door could be made. And we're done. You were surprised at how comfortable it was inside. Thick walls keep out the wind. There are only a few crevices to blow through. The house will be cool in the heat and dry in the rain. Great. You now have your own home on the island. You are overflowing with pride in your work. I should celebrate. You've called a parrot, collected a variety of food, and even uncorked a bottle of rum. Wonderful.
Sailor's not dead. Sailor built a house.
Where have you been?
Orlando's found a girlfriend. Or she lives on a high tree in the center of the island.
Good job, Orlando. I'm happy for you. The parrot flaps his wings merrily and told you about his adventures. It was a great evening. Home improvement takes many days and nights. You have made a rudimentary bench, table, and even a bed. There's no way you can sleep. You've counted your food supply again today. and there's not much left. You need to check the crops. Not gonna exercise, taking out a nap. Best way to spend your energy is in a healthy way is to sleep. Healthy sleep is hard work and should not be neglected. That's actually a life lesson. After finally waking up and snacking on whatever you can from your leftover supplies, you are fully prepared for a new adventure. Let's hit the road. There were even materials left over for the stairs. Now the descendant from the base will be more comfortable than ever before. We finished sanctuary. Great. Alright, I'm not sure how long this chapter is gonna go on, but we're nearing the 2-hour mark. I think it's been nice enough for now. So, let's turn this way. Like I said at the start of the stream, this has been brought to you by Keymailer. I applied for a whole bunch of keys and got a few ones. The first one was Please Be Happy. Review got up a few weeks ago. Now for this we're gonna have the live stream, and in 2 days there should be an upload for another game from Keymailer. And then we have one more, and after that I'm just gonna hope to be applied for more keys. But with that being said, I do want to return to streaming every Friday. Hopefully it's gonna work out the way it's supposed to. Tried to fiddle around with my settings for tonight, which is why I streamed later than I planned to. Was looking to stream on YouTube Shorts, but that was not gonna happen due to the technical issues. Still gonna try to settle that and make sure that next week it's actually working. Now, of course, if you are watching this on demand, thank you. Thank you for watching a 2-hour video. You might be slightly insane, but hey, I do applaud you for it. And of course, be sure to make sure you subscribe, or if you're watching on Twitch, to follow, and make sure you do not miss out on any of the future live streams. Now, for this wonderful little game that we have here. What can I say? I didn't know what to expect going in. I think the map part might be a little bit redundant. I think the lack of any voice acting makes it a bit but overall there had been quite a bit of humor in this. I've had a good laugh a few times, dying in spectacular ways. I wouldn't even say it's dying in spectacular ways, it's the build up that's the best. And yeah, sometimes you're gonna take this game extremely literally, and other times you're gonna have to take this grain with a pinch of salt. And that's probably why I like it so much. So yeah, I've enjoyed my time with this for now, and might return to it. There's still a lot more to do, but yeah, this has absolutely been a blast, and I'm very happy that I got the key to actually try this out. So again, thank you to Keymailer for handing out this opportunity, and hopefully until next time, goodbye.